In this video, we'll talk about how to find peer-reviewed sources for your article critique in CJC323. I'm Dawn Emsellem, I'm the library director, and if you have questions after this presentation, you can find me at dawn.emsellem@salve.edu, or you can Google Dawn Salve Library. So what are we going to do today? Your professor has identified that students over the years have had trouble identifying peer-reviewed sources for their article critiques. So today we're going to talk about how to do that. We're going to talk about some characteristics of peer-reviewed sources and where to find them when you're doing criminal justice research. We're going to practice using Ebsco, which is one of the library databases that is in the library's article search on the homepage, JSTOR, and HeinOnline, another two databases. So the first thing to do when you are looking for peer-reviewed sources is to look very closely at your assignment. So in this case, your article critique is supposed to be from an academic journal, and your professor wants you to find a scholarly article from a peer-reviewed journal. So now that we have that settled, we know exactly what criteria our professor is looking for, and then we just have to do it. So to do that, we're going to look at a research strategy. We're going to ask ourselves 4 questions. First, what information is required? Scholarly analysis of your topic. So you need to have a topic that is scholarly, that the scholars have looked at, and we're going to be looking for analysis of this topic. And then the types of sources are scholarly articles in peer-reviewed journals. So and then the third question is what search tool is going to lead us to this, and these are the 3 search tools we're going to be looking at. And then what search words or phrases should we try in each tool? So this goes back to your topic. So you're going to be thinking about words to describe your topic. So there might be people associated with your topic, or organizations, or themes that are related to your topic: ethics, information fusion centers, etc. And you should keep in mind while you're doing your searching that some words have different spellings. So, for example, one source might use Hezbollah instead of Hezbollah, or vice versa. And so you should be aware of all the different spellings and be ready to try different spellings in each search tool. And then you should keep in mind that search tools have different algorithms. They have different ways of using the words you feed into them to bring back results. So Google, you can dump all your words in there and it'll bring you back something, although regular Google is not going to give you peer-reviewed sources. In Ebsco and HeinOnline, you have to be careful to use only very specific words, because the search algorithm is only looking at the article abstract or summary and title and subject headings. Whereas in JSTOR, it's a little more like Google, and you can use more words, but you have to be a little choosy because it's not looking in the same ocean of information as Google. It's looking more in a lake of scholarly sources. So, and before we go into practicing in each of these tools, there's some terms to understand. So a database is a collection of different types of information. In our case, it's a collection of usually peer-reviewed, but sometimes popular journals that are split up into articles. So a database sometimes has different types, different disciplines. So you might have a nursing database or a political science database. References and citations, these are always found in scholarly articles. These refer to sources the author used to write the article. So the author will always tell you what sources they used in creating their ideas and writing their article. These are references or citations. This is one characteristic of scholarly journals as well. Peer review is a process where the article is, the author sends the article to the journal, and then the journal sends it out to some reviewers to look at the article and suggest corrections, identify inaccuracies, and ask the author to clean the article up before it's printed. Now we're going to look at some qualities of scholarly journals. These are questions you can ask yourself when you're looking at an article to see if you think it's coming from a scholarly or peer-reviewed source. So subject matter in a scholarly journal, it's very in-depth. So if you look at a popular source, they're going to make it a little easier to read. Authors in scholarly journals, do not worry about that, but they are usually talking about their original research findings. The topics tend to be very specific. So they aren't like a scholarly journal isn't going to give you a broad overview of a topic. For that, if you're looking for that, you're going to have to look in a book or a reference source. If you're looking for more scholarly treatment, an overview, you're going to be finding very narrowly considered topics. The audience is going to be scholars, other scholars, and students like yourself. And sometimes professionals will read scholarly journals if they need a really high level analysis to complete their jobs. The authors are always experts in that specific topic. So if you Google the author, you should see that that author works for a highly respected agency that specializes in the topic that they're writing about, or at a university with a specialization in that topic, and they should have usually a body of work related to that topic. And the language is hard to understand, so that is something to keep in mind. It takes a while, but once you understand the language in your field, these articles will get easier to read, but they're a little bit of a learning curve in the beginning. And the other way you can identify a scholarly article is it has a pretty common structure. There's an abstract often, or a summary of the article, and then an introduction. Sometimes with certain types of research articles, the author may discuss the methods they use to conduct their research. That depends on what kind of article you're looking at. They may also talk about the results. If they're doing a research study, they'll talk about the method they use to gather the information and then the results that they found. And then there'll be a conclusion. So when we go in and look for these articles, we'll point out some of that, some of these structural things that you can be looking for when you look for a scholarly article. So with that, let's jump into the library homepage. And we're going to just Google Salvia Library, and then you'll see McKillop Library come up. For our first search, we're going to try the articles search. So this is the articles tab. You click on articles, otherwise you're looking just for books. And these are searching in our Ebsco host databases. So for this one, maybe we'll do our Hezbollah search, and maybe we'll combine that with another topic. So maybe we'll look at maybe the ethical collection, information collection or something. See what comes back. We can do all kinds of things. So here we have our results. This is showing that we have 65 results. And you can see, first of all, that there's different spellings that are coming back. And so we might try in our other tools using this spelling as well. And you can see here, for example, these indicate that this article is not available in this database, but if we click on it, it will go outside and see if it's available somewhere else. In this case it is, and it's linking us right to the article in JSTOR. Now we can see here that this is in the Middle East Journal. JSTOR has mostly peer-reviewed journals in it. Now we can see here is our abstract, and we also see something about the author here. So we're finding out the author's background. And if we want to download the article, we can see a little more. And so, for example, you can see that there's citations here. So this is another indicator that this is a scholarly article. And you can see also that there's sections. So this is not the kind of article that has results and conclusions, but you can see that the author has helpfully split this up into sections so you can see if it's related to your topic that you're researching. Now, the best way to identify this is Middle East Journal. If you want to be double, triple sure that this is a scholarly journal, you can just Google it. So we're going to go out into Google and Google Middle East Journal. And right here we see that it describes itself as a peer-reviewed publication. So we are absolutely fine using this. Now, if we wanted to use a different article, so this is another one here. So we're going to click on this. We clicked on the title, and we see this is an article, Critical Studies on Terrorism. So I'm not sure about this one, so I might actually do another Google search on it to see how it's described. So this is the journal, and we can see some information about the journal. Now they're describing it as peer-reviewed, so we're all clear on that. And if we want this article, we can click on PDF full text. You can also click right here to cite on this little yellow rectangle, and you can grab the APA citation right here. Right-click and copy. Another approach to doing research is to click right here on JSTOR. So JSTOR is another search tool. And then we might type something like Information Fusion Center and see what comes back. And so right here we can see a bunch of journal articles. In this case, in your field, the dates are really important. So you see here, this is 2014. So we might want to restrict by date and have it be, 2019 maybe to 2022. And now we can see that we have a little bit of a problem that they're not keeping the words together. Information is coming up and then fusion is coming up separately. So what we do, you can do this in Google or JSTOR, is you can put quotes around it. And when you do that, it keeps the words together. And now you can get some information about the articles that are more helpful. And again, if you need it to be peer-reviewed, it's good to highlight and copy and paste to do a search. And this is a words that might be found very frequently. So we might add a term journal or something. So here it's saying inside the Navy on journal in JSTOR. And if we click on journal info, this may not be a peer-reviewed article or journal, so you might want to use a different one. Our last search tool is going to be HeinOnline. So if we click on databases A to Z, and H for HeinOnline, we can click on it here. And these are also in your online research guide, which is attached to your course in Canvas. HeinOnline has a lot of legal information and information related to the military and the government. So we could do a search for a person, for example, like Aldrich Ames. And it's good to spell it correctly. These are not very forgiving if you don't. And you might talk about like maybe psychology or something like that, or some other term. And what we're finding is that it's getting split up. This might not be the right term, actually. Maybe we'll do spy. And here we have a book review, which is related to a book that was written about Aldrich Ames. And you can see some other articles. So you can, if you wanted to look at these, you could download the PDF here. So there are lots of options. You can also limit by date, just as we did in JSTOR. And you can limit by date in Ebsco as well, so we can change our publication date right here in Ebsco to 2019, for example, and it will redo our search. So with that, give it a try, and if you still have any questions, you can email me at dawn.emsalim@salve.edu or Google Dawn Salve Library, and you'll find my email address.